Good morning, Brandon.
Good morning, Mama.
Again, how are you?
I am doing great. I'm a little
Good.
crusty eyed. Y'all getting the crusty eye special today. I worked out last night with the team at law school MMA, and it was
You
a
know what
drill
my
day, but
problem is,
it was a real
Brandon?
day. What's that?
I keep waking up saying, "Is it time? Is it time?" Like I wake up. I gotta figure out a way to
Mm,
stop that because I wake up like two, three. Is it time? Is it time? And I usually get up early anyway, but because I'm waking up looking at the clock, like okay, even though I set the alarm, I'm just like I'm gonna oversleep or something. So I wake up. Is it time? Is it time? So of course
oh
I'm a
man,
little crusty eyed too.
and I've been it's been good though. I won't say I wake up thinking what time is it, but I do wake up, thinking, let me go check on your grandson because we're potty training him right now. So I go in
Yeah.
there and check on him, make sure he ain't wet the bed every couple of hours, make sure he can pee. I think he's getting tired of me waking him up, but it's all good. Um,
Yeah.
but welcome everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is another celebration of Black History Month, another recognition of our history, of our collective story. If you are not African American, welcome, welcome to the picnic, welcome to the cookout. You are cordially invited for this show. We are for the entire month of February reading a book called Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbro. If you haven't gotten the book, please do. If not, a link for it. If you haven't already, Mom, I don't know if you've
Yes.
gotten that, but
Yes. 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 Yes.
Daily Motivations for African American Success is a book that's changed my life, a book that I read every single year. I won't say that I read it every single day, every single year, but I will pick it up, put it down, pick it back up when I need it. But this year, I think I'm going to go straight through it the entire time. So if you're rocking with us this morning, let us know where you watching from. Let us know if you're in Memphis,
You need to
where I
figure out
am. If you're in California, um, Mom, I can still hear you. I think the mic is hot. You good?
this. Yes, I'm
Okay, I
trying to
got you in
figure
the
out.
queue
So
then.
we're doing something different, and so I'm trying to make sure that it does go live where it's supposed to. So carry on. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Carry on.
Well,
I'm
we're
gonna
good
mute
on my
for
end.
just a minute. I'm gonna mute while you're doing all that because I'm gonna be moving around. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. And welcome everybody. We are reading from the book Daily Motivations for African American Success. And the reason we picked this book is because, one, it changed my life. I suggested it to my mother and she bought it very, very quick. Right? Like she just bought it and got it in the mail, sent me a picture, and I was like, Mom, we should do something about this. We should maybe do something for our family or or do like a podcast based on this book because I really like this book and there's a lot on in the world today. So, with all that said, this book will help you focus on thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead you to the achievement of your true goals. And in 365 short motivations, one for each day of the year, Dennis Kimbro, the author of the popular book Think and Grow Rich Choice, leads us to discover how to use the moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes and to know when to say no, and to look inward for answers to life's challenges. Motivation begins with words of wisdom from such distinguished, celebrated African Americans as Malcolm X, Miriam Elderman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, Mother Hale, Reverend Sullivan, and the list goes on. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year. What it is will last you a lifetime. And y'all, thank y'all for rocking with me. Mom, I got a question for you about yesterday. What did you get? Did it change your day in any kind of way? Did it open your eyes to see anything special, or
It made
did
me
it did it
think
give you
about.
any more clarity?
It just made me think about the things that I need to act on. It just made me think about internalized why, especially one thing in particular, but why, so I wanted to know more of the why I am waffling in some areas of my life. Um,
Mm,
so that's what it did for me. It kept today. Yesterday was just kind of a busy day. I had some just things that had to kind of take care of for someone else, but Um, as I went about my day, I really pondered the waffling. Really pondered it.
And for all
You
those
know
that
me, I
don't,
stay in my mind.
that yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We all do sometimes. But for those who don't, who weren't here yesterday, the title of yesterday's passage was Wall House. And the quote was the affirmation: "Today I will form the habit of making decisions." And the Waffle House metaphor meant that we're waffling back and forth, not making a decision, trying to stand on both sides of the fence and splitting themselves to um, being decisive and fast with their decision. So for me, I thought me and Maricela were at Chick-fil-A. We went to get some things needed, and Stella was like, you know what? I've been wanting Chick-fil-A. And I was like, okay, let's sit inside. So we sat inside, and we get our food, and we start to eat our food, and we see this man comes in, and he's a big brother. He was extremely overweight, and but it wasn't just being overweight. He had some type of ailment. Eggs were uh, almost grotesquely big, so that it pained him. The bottom of his calves was having so much water retention, and as he struggled coming, when I noticed him, he was actually coming through the door, and someone helped him to get through the door, and I saw him. And at the same time, me and my wife said, God may Allah grant him shifa. Shifa means like healing, or grant him, like a fast recovery. And we said a prayer for him, and he came in, parked in the handicap, back out, and again, someone helped him to go through the door. He was an African American man, again, like, dealing with some type of ailment, edema, or water retention in his legs, and a white male in a shirt opened the door for him, and seemed to kind of give him some type of encouragement as he left, or made him laugh or something like that. And they exchanged, a quick smiling as they went about their way. And I saw the white guy walking back to his car, as the man with the ailment got in his car in the handicap position. So I'm looking afar and seeing the white guy go back to his car, and he keeps kind of looking back. He keeps kind of like looking back, like he left something almost. And at one point, he just stops, turns around, and he walks back faster than he walked away. He walks back to the man that was dealing with the ailment, the the obese brother, and he comes to his window and kind of waves at him, and the guy looks like yes, and I could see his mouth say, "Can I pray with you?" Or "Can I pray for you?" And the guy said, he nodded in agreement, like sure. And the white guy grabbed the black guy's hand like this, as it hung out of his window, and they both bowed their heads and they prayed. And me and my wife at the same time said Subhanallah, which means glory to God. Said, glory to God, like that's amazing. And she actually teared up, and I was just thinking how beautiful it was that man made the decision. He doesn't know the guy with the ailment, from a pothole up the street. Doesn't know him at all. Doesn't know how he'll react, know how that man's day is, but he come back 2 days. He listened to whatever spirit, this higher. He listened to that inclination within himself. He made a decision to turn around. I noticed that he walked back faster than he left, because when he was leaving, he felt like he wasn't abiding by what he believed in. But he made a decision, turned around 180 degrees, and walked back and prayed. After they got done praying, the white guy, you know, pat the shoulder and say, good day, and walking away. Well, the bigger brother, the black guy that was inside of the car that had the ailment and the hurting body, he kind of yelled back out to the white guy, and as he opened his door, and this man, as much effort as it takes in and out of the car, and as much pain as it is, got out of his car and started walking back towards the white guy and around, coming back towards him. And the big guy, opened up his arms like this and hugged. And so he hugged the guy in an embrace for a good, 20, 15, 20 seconds. And then they went about their way. Didn't exchange numbers, didn't anything like that. They just had a real human interaction. I thought that was beautiful. And so I saw that he didn't waffle back and forth. Neither did the guy that the wife waffled back and forth and wanted to come pray for the brother, and the brother didn't waffle back and forth and saying like, "Hey man, we're both men, but I gotta hug you, man. Thank you for that." And so I just appreciated that moment, and it was a beautiful one for me. But I am not gonna go too much on. I just wanted to share that with y'all. If you're good with it, Mom, I'm gonna jump right into reading.
I just want to. So again, we're live. I created the live event so that it would kind of already be out there to remind you guys. So I thought I had to click on Facebook Live in that event, but I want to make sure that you all are seeing Brandon as well, because I only see myself when I go out there. So if somebody can just send me a comment, if you got my phone number, just text me and just say, hey, y'all see both of us and hear both of us. Because if not, then we don't want to do it that way. I want it to be where everybody can see and see both of us. So thank you. Let's
Can
get
y'all
at it,
can y'all
Brandon.
see me? They good? They can see
Yeah,
me?
I see Trent out there, Leander. Trent, will you text me and let me know if you can see both of us? Trent will do it for me. So go ahead, Brandon. Let's get it going.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. I heard
Okay,
little
we're
cuz
good.
Victoria. She said I can
Yes.
see and hear both of us. All right, cool. Cool.
Thank
All right, y'all.
you, little
We're gonna jump
cuz.
right into it. Today's title is Slim and None. And the quote is by Wilma Rudolph, Olympic champion. The quote is, it doesn't matter what you're trying to accomplish. It's all a matter of discipline. I was determined to discover what life held for me beyond inner city streets. That was by
Mm,
Rudolph, the Olympic champion. And the passage goes, there's a breathtaking statue in Mexico that bears the unusual title of In Spite of. The name was given to honor the sculptor rather than subject in stone. During the time the sculptor was carving the statue, he suffered a tragic accident and his right hand. Nonetheless, he was so determined to finish the project that he learned how to chisel his left hand. Appropriately enough, the statue was entitled In Spite of, because in
mm,
spite of his handicap, the sculptor managed to complete a moving of art. In spite of their blunts, Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder sing and continue to entertain millions. In spite of a difficult childhood, oh man, this is Ray Charles was alive. Interesting. In spite of their blindness, Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder sing and continue to entertain millions. In spite of a difficult childhood, Oprah Winfrey has become television's number one talk show host. Despite lack of contacts or connections, both Spike Lee and Robert Townsend persevered to produce numerous box office hits. In spite of losing his legs in Vietnam, Bill Denby overcame a host of physical challenges and motivates others to do their best. In spite of racism and bitter poverty, both Mary McLeod and Marva Collins transformed a world of ignorance and illiteracy into one of academic excellence and self-respect. In spite of blind, abused, orphaned, poor, uneducated, others have overcome, excelled, and even triumphed. And so can you.
Mm.
So today's affirmation that I will read 3 times is I will reach for my goals in spite of the obstacles. I will reach for my goals in spite of the obstacles. I'll say it one more time for the people in the back. I will reach for my goals in spite of the obstacles. What you think about that, butterfly? I see you sipping that coffee. When you sip coffee, I know it's real.
Yes,
When you
it's
sip it
good.
before say it.
Um,
What do you think?
you know, instantly I thought about the young lady or the lady that I spoke about yesterday that was in the wheelchair. How she approached life
Mm-hmm.
as if she had all like she, in spite of, she was going to let it be what it be, do what it do, all of that, in spite of, because she just moved, and here I am like, oh my gosh, feeling sorry for her. And she's like, she told me, like, if it's not good for me, I let it go, whether it's a job, a man. So imagine her faith in spite of her condition. So, and I also
Right.
thought, I hope it's okay to say this about my brother Trent. I remember telling him, Trent has gone through some ordeals as far as
Oh yeah.
having a stroke and things like that. And I remember telling him, and he talks about it now, like, okay, so what we gonna do? What you gonna do? What's the next thing? Like, in spite
Mm,
of what
mm,
has happened to you, you're still who you are, and you still have something to give to this world. You mentioned that yesterday. Like, what is it? What is it that you can bless this world with? What, not in those exact words, but what is it? Um, and I'm going to say this. I remember when I had to travel for work, and I went down to Clarksville quite a bit, and there was this crossing guard that everybody in the city seemed to adore. Like, taking their children to school was a motivational thing, because what he did, sometimes we think, oh, crossing guard or trash collector, whatever, right? That these are not important jobs. They're not important until they're gone, right? Till they no longer pick your trash up, or they're not there to direct traffic for your kids. But this man did this with such, it was as if he was security for the president. He was happy. I mean, I had to go see him because everybody would talk about him, you know. So I also thought about him, and not in the way of in spite of, but how blessed it is to do what you do and love it in spite of, because we all have the situations. We all have a situation. We all are truly going through something, coming out of something, or getting ready to go through something. So in spite of your situation, do you feed off the spirit? Do you make the decisions? You know what I'm saying? Are we still waffling like
yeah.
me in some of my areas? So, and I also, Brandon, love, if it doesn't matter what you're trying to accomplish. It's all a matter of discipline, discipline, discipline. Another area that I want to be,
Mm.
to grow in. So back over to you.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about. It's actually interesting because yesterday's title is titled Waffle House, and then today's title is Slim and None. And I kid y'all not, I didn't read before we got here, but the story that I brought up of the brother, about the big brother, which contrasts the Slim, and then the Waffle House, which to me aligns with where we were at Chick-fil-A. It's just interesting to me, some of the parallels that I'm seeing
Yeah.
in reading these affirmations and motivations and what I see in my life. And so I think thank God for that, because I think it's cool. It's kind of like it's kind of like little signs, little intimate relations that you have with your creator, and with creation, with time, and with other people. When you're seeking to better yourself, I don't think um, I think God is merciful enough to allow you to have it if it benefits you. And I
Mm,
think in other situations, if you're not able, if you're trying your earn it, if you're trying your best, you're putting everything forward that you can, and you know you've given it the dedication and the degree of attention that it needs, and it's not working out, you never know. You could be being saved, or there's another door that's open for you. You just haven't turned around to see it yet. But it doesn't mean that you should lose your decisiveness, or you should lose your compassion for others like that. So I was just looking at the parallels between life, what the story I shared today morning, and then these type passages. But because I thought, in spite of the pain that it
Mm.
took for that man to get back out of the car and hug that brother, or to go hug that the guy that came up to him, uh, which is
Hey,
a brother in
Brandon.
humanity. I,
Um,
I
I
think
want
it
to
just
share
it was an
something.
amazing thing.
I'm sorry. I want
Mm-hmm.
to share something.
And
Sorry
you
to
go
interrupt
ahead. You
you.
go ahead. Sis.
Yesterday, um, so yesterday, gosh, yesterday when you were talking about grandmothers, right? And I got a bit emotional, and I realized yesterday that yesterday was the first day that I shed a tear about my grandmother's passing. That was the first time ever because I looked at it in a different
Oh
way.
wow.
And the tear wasn't of sadness. It was um it was beautiful and joy because for a long time, I continuously dreamed of my grandmother after she passed. I had all kinds of dreams, even her oldest son. Like she died 1 week later, after her oldest son who lived with her. They were like two peas in a pot. And
Mm-hmm.
I was there to see my grandmother June. I was there, took her a watermelon, took two, matter of fact, and she asked me, how much did they cost? And I told her, she said they wouldn't have gotten my money. That was too much. And it was two for $10, y'all. So imagine that. But 94 years old. She didn't come from that time. And I also asked her for my Aunt Vivian's number. I was going to try to connect with her while I was there. And she said, give me my book. So she had this tablet with all these numbers written in it. And I took a picture of her glancing through this tablet to look for my aunt's number. And I remember I took the picture because I was so appreciative of her being that age, still having her right mind, being able to see, comprehend, and also look through her book for the numbers. Because she don't have a cell phone, she got a house phone. She picked that book up and she found the number. Like y'all, it was just tons and tons of names and numbers in this book. So I told Jimmy, I said, I left there. My last words leaving there, getting in the truck, I was like, my grandmother is fine. She's going to live forever. But in August, she passed
Oh, man.
of that same year. And
Mm-mm.
again, I did not shed a tear because it was so much going on. But the last dream I had about my grandmother was, what is wrong with you? Like she was standing up saying, what is wrong with you all? I am fine. That was the last dream. Last week, I ran into a lady and her husband, and she reminded me of my grandmother. And I'm sitting there talking to her, and I'm like, gosh, she reminded me of my grandmother. Just the way she moved, the things she had on her head. So we got in a good conversation, and she said, hey, can I have your number? And I said, sure. And I gave her my number, and something just said, get her number too. So I said, I tell you what, give me your number just in case you don't call me. And I wrote it down. And I said, what's your name? And she said, B. And something just went up in me. And I said, what does the B stand for? And she said, Beatrice. And that's the name of my grandmother. So I
Mm.
felt like, and then when you said that you felt she was telling you to go do this for my child. But that is my grandmother. Like she would, in spite of, it's two things I know that everybody would have, even if they were a stranger to her: food and shelter. It wouldn't matter what you were doing, who you were. She could think you were the worst person in the world, but if you needed food and shelter, in spite of, because she came from what we're talking about. She came from a time of enslavement, But it's, if you needed it, food and shelter, you were going to get it. So when I heard that she was speaking to you, uh, saying, go do this, I feel her presence. And I don't know why I'm going here, but in spite of, you guys, we lose
Mm,
people every day. We lose people every day. Think about that. Think about that. I could be gone tonight. I could not be show back up here tomorrow. So in spite of anything, even if it's death and grief, live your life. Live your life. Feed off the spirit.
mm.
Discipline yourself. Make the decisions. Because if you make them and it's wrong, you learn about yourself. You grow some strength. If you make them and it's right, hey, all roads or all what's the what we talked about? All roads going your way.
All
All
traffic
traffic
going my way.
going your way.
All
So I
traffic.
just wanted to share that in case somebody saw that yesterday. Those were tears of joy because my grandmother still lives. She's gone, but she's living through us. She's a living through us. And I just got a little choked up. And then
Mm.
yesterday I realized that's the first tear you cried about. Because I said, if anybody deserves to meet our maker, our creator, it's my grandma. If anybody deserves to meet her. So just wanted to say that.
Wow, that's powerful, Mom. I made that connection, yeah, because I remember you told me that story about just about your day, and that this woman reminded you of grandma,
Yeah.
of my great grandma, your grandma, and then um, and I don't know where that was in the relation of, because I didn't reject it. I think either within you, I don't know if you told me that it happened first, or when I felt like something was telling me to go take care of her child, and I could
Right.
just hear a voice in my head,
Right.
and so which happened first. But I will say this: I felt like I felt like you know a spirit, or like in her honor, something was for me go take care of my child, and I did, and not to get too deep into it, but I had to make a little sacrifice. It wasn't just time or anything like that, but you know, um, I had something right in front of me, and it was like, go take this to her. You thought this was for you? No, this is for her. And I did it. And as I went over there, I felt like my great mom was beside me, saying like, okay, now when you go in here, she ain't gonna want to take it, you know. But you tell her to listen to her mama. I'm like, I'm crazy. I was like, okay, I'm gonna say it, no matter what. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
I told my wife on my way out, I was, great grandma, I need to, I still do it. She's like, okay. Gave me extra gifts and things from her to take well. And so it's incredible to see these things happening, but also how beautiful is it? Sorry, that's my phone, y'all. How beautiful is it that we miss, and that we're aware of the signs and connections and serendipities, and the things that coincidence doesn't match the description of our experience. The fact that we could be, so caught up in day to day life, in the hustle and bustle, trying to get to the bag, or trying to do this or trying to do that, that we miss these things, because billions
Mhm.
and billions probably of miracles happen every single day, but are we watching them? So, for example, when I was at that Chick-fil-A and we're sitting there eating, had I not looked out, or been aware of my surroundings, I would have never saw that happen. A window seat, so we had a front row seat to that situation. I would have never noticed that happened if I'd have just been focusing with just what was on my plate, just focusing on what I was about to consume,
Mhm.
my own consumption. No, I was looking around, in the scene. I mean, yes, Memphis, but at the same time, these are human beings. These are human beings that if one thing would have happened different in history, one thing would have happened different in their father's life, their mother's life, one left turn versus a right turn, staying in one place as opposed to immigrating to another, going to school versus not going to school. A thing would have happened. If one day would have been different in all of history and time, this human being might not be here. What a miracle we
Mm.
all are. If you see a miracle, go to a mirror. A miracle, okay?
Right.
And
In
I went
spite
and
of.
saw that. So just, I think we should, in spite of, I think we should recognize um, just the miracle that we are, and that are signs and miracles every day. We just have to be aware, be looking, be decisive, because if you're back and forth, you don't know. And if you think your chances are slim to still have a chance, because you wouldn't have been born. There's a slim to none chance of you being born. And here you are, and here we are, spiritual being a physical experience. And who knows what's next? We can only have faith, right? So have
Right.
it in your life so that you can have it in your afterlife. You can benefit from it. And have something to take. If you believe in a creative power, then when you leave this life, have something to take to the creator. Have something to show for the miracle of your awareness, of your consciousness, of your life, of your biology, of the incredible intelligence, the divine intelligence that created you, that created us. I just think we should really ground ourselves in our humanity. And if we did that, a lot of other things wouldn't a lot of our quote unquote problems wouldn't be so big. We're
Mm.
so lucky, y'all. We're lucky to be alive. We're lucky to be alive. I talked to my grandmother, and she said, at the same day when took the stuff over there to her, and she said, "Can't nobody tell me I ain't rich." Oh, did I get cut out? Okay, cool. She said nobody can tell me I'm not rich. I was like, man, that's powerful. She said, my grandson, I got my family. She said I had these big windows in front of my living room. I could see outside. She said the house that I grew up in and I was born in didn't have any windows. She said I can
Mm.
go back there to the bathroom and I can sit down and I can look, and it's safe and sound, and I got light. She said the outhouse I used to have to use the restroom in was all the way in the back, was in the back of the field, and I had to dodge the snake because the snakes hung out back there. And she told me about a time a snake was hanging down, as she really had to go use the restroom, and she had to hold it because she would not go past that snake. So having to clothes in the river, having to see the mule go around in a circle, as it pressed the cane, the sugar cane, into syrup for them to use on their biscuits, as her parents sharecropped on a white man's farm. That was that from what she told me was a very man. She used to basically eat breakfast and dinner together, and sit at the table 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night talking, and he would drive them back to the house. He'd pick them up in the morning, and they drive around and eat biscuits and syrup together at the table. So it's like there are so many stories of human beings existing amongst each other, and we hear so much in history about the horrible things, about the atrocities. Just like in life, if you wake up and somebody says something to you that pisses you off, you will remember that the whole day. But you will forget all the countless people that you walked past that said, "Hey, how you doing, brother?" Didn't even know your name. So are we doing
Mm.
that same thing with our history? As African Americans, are we doing that same thing with our history? I'm not saying that we shouldn't look and gain the lessons of our past, but I don't think that has to predict our future. I don't think that has to be the blinders or the worldview or the lens in which we experience the world. You are free. Free yourself. Admit to yourself that you are free. And whether you're black, white, or whatever, if some people aren't free because of their debt, some people aren't free because of their financial situation, their marital situation, or whatever going on in their life. they feel as if they are not free because their chances are slim to none. They might think their chances are slim and none, whether it be to achieve a goal, a dream, whether it be to rekindle their relationship, their partner and their spouse, whether it be to mend the relationship that they have with a family member. I know a lot of y'all, a lot of us got that baggage of there being somebody in our family or people in our family that we love so much, and if they died today, we would cry our eyes. But you ain't touched, you ain't been together, you ain't talked to each other, you ain't settled and buried the hatchet of whatever you had going on from either yesterday or old long day ago. But if they died today, you would be shattered.
Mm.
We are all miracles. People are dying every single day. You could die today. Tomorrow is not promised. This world and everything that you have in it will perish. It will perish and go to dust. So don't forget the miracle of us. Don't forget the miracle of us. Because to be honest with you guys, the richest man in the world right now, if he doesn't have tomorrow, surely he is impoverished. Surely we are more wealthy than he is if we have tomorrow. Because if you woke up this morning and somebody said, you got $10 billion, no strings attached. You got $10 billion. It's yours. It's yours. It's nothing. It's you hit every lotto at the same time. There's nothing anybody could say to me that day to make me have a bad day. There's nothing anybody could cut me off in the street and flip me the bird to piss me off enough to make me remember it by the end of the night because I just got $10 billion. Now go to a man right now that has $10 billion and tell him you can choose between two things: the sunrise tomorrow or your $10 billion.
Hmm.
I tell you, he will give up that $10 billion to see another sunrise. And when he does, he will feel like the richest man in the world because even if all he had was the sunrise. So when you wake up and that sun hits your eyes, remember you have something worth more than all the money in the world, everything in the world. So be happy. When that person cuts you off, don't worry about it. Let it be like water falling off the feather of a duck, off the feather of a bird. It just rolls on. You feel me? So
Yeah.
don't, we are all miracles. So call yourself by your name. Even if your chances are slim to none, you are a miracle. You were slim and none and you still are here. So don't count yourself out. Count yourself in. That's all I got.
Okay. I got to be brief because I got to go, but I got to tell this story. Um, I was thinking about, and if you guys haven't heard of Ruby Payne, please go look her up. Please go look her up. But she tells this story, true story. She was a teacher, and there was this young, I think fourth or fifth grade, and she said, I knew, and she taught in predominantly black areas, schools that didn't have a lot. Another show. But she said, I knew this young man had so much more in him. I knew he did. And she said one day she just asked him. She was like, what is up with you? What's going on with you? Basically, I know you can do better. And he said, in this neighborhood, in this area, we don't make A's. You know what happened if we make A's?
Oh yeah.
So in his mind, he's thinking, I'm not leaving here. No one around me is leaving here. So if I make the A, and this is that mental enslavement that we're talking about. And that's why, I had a little friction with just saying a black choice because I don't want to put people in a box or myself in a box. But what keeps me going here is that I want people who don't look like me to understand that when you come from a place of enslavement, mental enslavement, that there's no way that doesn't trickle down. Even in the womb, think about mothers who carried their children under a mindset of enslavement, inferiority. I have someone in my life whose mother told them, why do you want to go to school? All you're ever going to do is pick cotton. Y'all, this is true. And this lady has beat the
Mm-hmm.
odds in so many ways. It's it's a story to be told. So in spite of, and there's many more I'd like to tell y'all, but I gotta go. But in spite of anything today, in spite of, be great, great people. Shine bright. Act like you know where you came from and whose you are. Don't focus on the negative. Don't focus on the person who pulls in front of you. Say, "Oh my God, I'm glad that didn't cause an accident, a triggering accident." So, in spite of it all, who are you? Whose are you? And what will you do with the gift that He gave you today? The gift of life. And that's all. Thank you guys. Thank you all for your comments. Share this video. Come back with us tomorrow, 7 a.m. And Brandon, you're going to do what you always do for the end.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I was getting caught up. I was a participant. I was in the audience for a second.
And y'all read this with us.
Absolutely,
Read
y'all.
this with us. It's trickling down across the bottom. So
Read
read this
with
with
us.
us.
All right. The affirmation of today. Three. Say it with me. I will reach for goals in spite of the obstacles. I will reach for my goal in spite of the obstacles. And last time for the people in the back of the chat, I will reach for my goals in spite of the obstacles. Thank y'all, family. We love y'all. Y'all have a great reach for your goals in spite of the obstacles. You be decisive about what you want to accomplish. All traffic is going your way. You are a mighty miracle. Live this day and seize this day and take this day as the blessing that it is. We love y'all. And we'll see y'all tomorrow right here, 7 a.m.
Peace. Love you.
Peace. Love you.